Now, from your weather authority, your KTAB forecast first.
All right, the weekend's officially here. Get ready for things to heat up. It's a nice day today as we warmed up into the 90s, and now tomorrow we're really going to heat up. We'll have a great sunrise in the morning, 64 degrees, light winds out of the southeast, 83 by lunchtime, but that humidity rises with the temperature, and by tomorrow afternoon it's going to be hot and muggy, about 93. That's your forecast first. KTAB News at 6 starts now.
With coverage you can count on. This is KTAB News at 6.
Lake Fort Phantom is full, and that's causing trouble for people who live along the lake. And fans of the Beatles can enjoy two-night concerts this weekend at Playfair Park, despite misinformation that the festival was canceled.
I'm Anna Warnicki in Washington. President Trump is threatening to impose tariffs on Mexico, but some lawmakers here on Capitol Hill are warning the president it's a bad idea. I'll have that story coming up.
Good evening. Thank you for choosing KTAB News, coverage you can count on. We've had some of the wettest weather in the last month and a half than we've had in a long time. And even in West Texas, that's not always a good thing. That is tonight's top story. Lake Fort Phantom Hill, Abilene's primary water supply, more than full, and folks who live along the shore are complaining about water getting into their homes. And that can happen with a wake churned up by boats going by, so they want the public boat docks closed until the water goes down.
All they got to do is ribbon them off when the lake comes up, because when these boats come through here, it's so close that the wake spills in our house, and we got to clean it up. I mean, how would they like it if I went up and threw water in their house? In 4 years, this has happened.
As to closing the public boat ramps, the city tells KTAB News that is not going to happen. Even if the public ramps were closed, private docks could still be used, and Phantom is a public access lake. We checked today, and Phantom is 2 feet over the spillway. Police in Merkel are telling us that further investigation has cleared a man of any wrongdoing. On the last day of May, Merkel police were called to a convenience store where a man allegedly pointed a gun at 2 women and assaulted a 3-year-old who was with the women. He was considered armed and dangerous. But just a day later, the account of what happened began to change, and the suspect provided video proving he was not even in Merkel at the time. The suspect was arrested on other warrants from Abilene, and the women who made the original complaint could be facing charges for filing a false report. President Trump has been trying to work with Mexico and Congress for 2.5 years to build a wall on the U.S.-Mexico border or toughen immigration laws to prevent illegal aliens from entering our country. Now the president is setting tariffs on products imported from Mexico. KTAB Washington Bureau correspondent Anna Warnicki reports not everyone agrees with the tariff decision.
President Trump is giving Mexico an ultimatum: meet his immigration demands or face a 5% tariff on exports to the U.S.
We've told Mexico the tariffs go on, and I mean it too.
New White House data shows May had a 32% increase in migrants apprehended at the southern border.
The president is frustrated. He's trying to use the only tools that he has to bring attention to that.
But South Dakota Republican Senator Mike Rounds says tariffs won't fix the humanitarian crisis at the southern border. Instead, it will create another crisis.
The tariffs have a direct impact on our producers in South Dakota.
Rounds says tariffs will hurt farmers.
We have producers that can't get in the field this year. They're frustrated by that and the limited amount of corn and soybean that they're able to produce. They need to get a fair price on their market.
Why would we hurt our economy while trying to punish Mexico for not doing more?
Texas Republican Senator John Cornyn called the tariffs a massive tax. Senator Cornyn says Texans rely on trade with Mexico, and tariffs would cripple the state's economy.
The U.S. Chamber estimates that Texas alone would face $5.35 billion in increased costs as a result of a 5% tariff.
But despite the resistance from both Democrats and Republicans, President Trump is sticking to his threat.
A lot of people, senators included, They have no idea what they're talking about when it comes to tariffs.
The tariffs are set to take effect Monday and gradually increase every month until October. In Washington, I'm Anna Warnicki.
Thank you, Anna. The president is flying back from Europe after the Normandy ceremonies. He could sign the order for tariffs as Air Force One is back on the ground in Washington. This KTAB reminder is new at 6. If you like the Beatles, we have a couple of big nights for you. That's Beatles as in the music group. Beatles Fest is tomorrow night and tonight and tomorrow night at Playfair Park. Several bands will be playing music of the Beatles from the 1960s. The show starts at 7 tonight and tomorrow night. Playfair is at 2300 North 2nd behind the Goodwill store. Apparently there was some fake news about this, an email saying that the show had been canceled. Not true. Beatle Fest is going on as scheduled. Also going on in Abilene tomorrow is CAF, the Children's Art and Literacy Festival, drawing several thousand to downtown for creative activities in the storybook capital of America. Families are here for fun and learning.
Great. Exciting. A lot of fun. And a lot of fun.
And are you having a lot of fun?
Uh-huh.
How much fun are you having?
That's a lot of fun.
Okay, book reading, costumed characters, art projects tomorrow in downtown Abilene. And along with other activities going on this weekend and yard work, the hot and humid weather Sam is talking about can lead to some dangers. KTAB's Mercedes Hernandez has put together a few tips for staying safe out in the sun. Mercedes?
With a busy weekend planned ahead for the Key City and plenty of sunshine in the forecast, the risk for heat exhaustion or heat stroke is high. Heat stroke happens when the body's temperature rises to 104 degrees after prolonged time spent in the heat. It can lead to long-term organ damage, but according to Taylor County Health Department officials, this dangerous overheating is preventable.
So what you want to do is you want to schedule your outdoor activities in the cooler hours. You want to avoid activities between that 12 and 5 period where the sun is at its hottest. You want to schedule your activities in the mornings and the evenings.
A couple other tips for staying safe while you're out in the sun is to drink at least 24 ounces of water before you go out in the sun and to keep drinking it while you're out. Wear hats and loose-fitting, light-colored clothes to cover all exposed skin, and to wear sunscreen that has at least 30 SPF protection. In Abilene, with coverage you can count on, Mercedes Hernandez, KTAB News.
Good tips. Thank you, Mercedes. Now, if you believe you or a loved one is experiencing a heat stroke, you should get into a cool area immediately and seek emergency help. Coming up on KTAB News at 6, the Texas High School Rodeo Finals are set to begin in Abilene on Sunday. How the athletes are preparing for the big week ahead. Sam, lots going on, but weather is an issue.
Yeah, and you know, when you're drinking that water outside, it's okay to spill it on yourself, but not in the studio.
But not
and you're wearing a suit, but you know, whatever.
Well, it blends in.
I'll be ready when I walk outside. I'll be nice and cool. But anyway, here's our headlines. It is going to be a hot and muggy weekend, but a strong cold front comes in on Sunday, and it is going to be a real shock to the system. The rain chances return on Sunday night. We'll go through the numbers with you, and I'll draw off and be back when we come back after the break. Stick around.
With coverage you can count on. This is KTAB News at 6. This portion of the news is sponsored by Farm and Ranch, your fire-resistant clothing headquarters. KTAB is your trusted source for information anytime you want it on all the screens you use. Now, Chief Meteorologist Sam Nichols with your Weather Authority forecast.
All right, here's the numbers for the weekend. Lots of sunshine, 93 to 94 degrees. Now, Sunday's going to be a little bit tricky. We do have that cold front coming through. One of the forecast models has the cold front coming through around noon. And if it comes through that early, this high of 94 certainly could be affected, particularly down south of Interstate 20. Another one of the forecast models has it coming through much slower and not arriving till late in the afternoon. So we'll just kind of have to wait and see. But nonetheless, it's going to be hot. It's going to be steamy rainy across our area. Not much going on right now, just a ridge of high pressure across Texas, and everything is relatively calm. Max Live radar is running clear at this hour. Let's take a look outside. It's 86 degrees, 48% humidity, and the dew point is at 64, so it's a little bit sticky out there for sure. Just a light breeze out of the north at about 6 miles an hour. Temperatures around the area, it's 86 in Brownwood, 84 over in Sweetwater, 85 in Aspermont, a pair of 87-degree readings at Haskell and Knox City here at 6 o'clock, and setting up for a summer-like weekend, the first hot weekend of the summer. Look at the heat index values by tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock. It'll feel like 94 in Abilene. These look warm, that's for sure, but because we've had so much of the rain and clouds and temperatures in the 80s, this is going to be a real shock to the system, that's for sure. Everybody's so eager to get out and do some summertime activities. This is going to be a radical change. And talk about radical changes, wait till Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock when it feels like 106 in Brownwood. In Abilene, the heat index Sunday afternoon, mid-afternoon, 104. Late afternoon, it'll feel like 107 in Brownwood. So just be careful. You can look all across the board. Dangerous heat index values on Sunday afternoon particularly, but Saturday is going to be awfully hot as well. So stay hydrated. Wear loose, light clothing. Check on your pets. Be sure and change their water out a couple of times a day, and your neighbors as well. And take some breaks. Don't just stay out there and go non-stop. Take some breaks and relax and enjoy your weekend. But pace yourselves, that's for sure. Beautiful night tonight, and then as we mentioned, lots of sunshine this weekend, and temperatures will be in the 90s, but the heat index values will be pushing it pretty hot. Clear overnight, 64. Light winds out of the southeast tomorrow. The southeast winds 5 to 10 miles an hour, 93, but that heat index, again, is what we have to keep an eye on. Sunscreen is going to be a requirement, that's for sure. 64 tonight through the heartland, and 92 tomorrow, hot and muggy. And then a 50% chance for rain and thunderstorms on Sunday, particularly down through the heartland. But look at the radical change for Monday. Cloudy skies, 50% chance for rain, and 76 for a high temperature. What a change with that cold front. But this weekend in the short term, get that sunscreen out, because our skin is certainly not used to this hot summertime rays that we're going to have, and the little ones particularly. Right, and as you were saying, take a break every once in a while, drink plenty of water, as Mercedes was saying. That's got to be careful. You bet. All right, thank you, Sam. Well, we're both wearing purple today, a reminder that this is Brain Health Awareness Month. The Abilene chapter of the Alzheimer's Association is reminding us all that early detection of signs and symptoms of memory loss is very important. There are as many as 10,000 people with Alzheimer's in this part of Texas. The Alzheimer's Association tells us it is the only disease on the top 10 causes of death that can't be treated, prevented, or cured. And that makes it important to start the conversation early with loved ones who could be diagnosed with the disease.
The more healthy your brain is, the earlier you're diagnosing and catching those symptoms, the more effective those medications can be. And also, we want for individuals who have dementia and Alzheimer's to be active in their care planning and their management of the disease.
There is a variety of training session opportunities to learn more about dementia and Alzheimer's. Go to the KTAB website, bigcountryhomepage.com, for a list of what's going on. Coming up, Abilene hosted a 7-on-7 state qualifier today. David has some of that action for you coming up later in sports. Good way to end the week for the markets. The Dow up more than 260 points. NASDAQ closing above 7,700 again. Crude oil higher by $1.50 a barrel. WTI closing the week at 50.50.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Pest Patrol. KTAB News at 6 continues.
Are you seeing more and more young cowboys and cowgirls in Abilene today? You'll be seeing more. The Texas High School Rodeo Finals are starting and run all next week.
KTAB coverage of the 2019 Texas High School Rodeo Finals is sponsored locally by Capital Farm Credit. Together, we're better.
The rodeo has more than 600 entries by athletes from across the Lone Star State. The teenagers and younger are competing in team roping, bull riding, calf roping, and other normal rodeo events. KTAB News spoke with a contestant preparing for the busy week ahead.
I hope to get out of Texas High School Rodeo with making the most friends that I can and walking away with one of the biggest high school state titles at the end of the week.
The athletes and their families are arriving today and tomorrow with the competition starting Sunday. Fun to watch, and it's free at the Taylor County Expo Center. Time for sports, and David, you've got a lot going on too.
We do indeed. We've got some softball action from the FCA All-Star Festival, some 7-on-7 football, and the Texas Tech Red Raiders started their Super Regional against Oklahoma State up in Lubbock this afternoon. We're going to take a look at Game 1. Sports is next.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Mills, McCarran & Associates. This is BigCountryHomepage.com Sports with David Robinette.
We start with high school football. The Abilene Division I 7-on-7 tournament was played today at Shotwell Stadium. Wiley and McMurray. Wiley Bulldogs in full play at Bulldog Field this afternoon, taking on Wichita Falls High. Second half action. Bulldogs and Coyotes. Jackson Hansen finds Tyler Martin in tight coverage for the touchdown. Wiley up by 6. A little bit later, Hansen again. This time, after scrambling, he's got a dart for the score. The Bulldogs won that game, won the pool, advanced the semis, but ended up losing in the semifinals to district rival Wichita Falls Rider. Now to college baseball. The Texas Tech Red Raiders looking to earn a place in the College World Series. Tech hosting Oklahoma State up in Lubbock. This is the wrong video. This is the FCA softball game. That was a home run for the Southball Club. That put them out in front in this one, or actually tied the game up at 4. And then this wild pitch gave the South the victory. The South wins this ball game by the final score of 5-4. The FCA All-Star Festival is going to continue later on this week. All right, now let's see what we are going to do next. We just saw that, so let's put me back on camera if we will. All right, thank you very much. Let's continue to talk about the high school the All-Star Festival that's going on in the Big Country this week. We've got a football game coming up tomorrow night, and here's a preview of one of the football players talking about playing in the game.
Everyone I've ever talked to has said that it's a fun game, and it's just an honor to be able to actually get to play in it and get to tell people about how much fun it is and meet new people and get to spend a lot of time with them and learn about God. In the week, I'm looking forward to meeting people and growing with Christ. And in the game, yes, I want to win, but I want to just have fun. It's going to be fun. I'm not going to expect too much. Just go out and have fun for the last time. It's going to be interesting because we're bringing all those different styles of football in together on one team, so it's going to be interesting. FCA is probably the best way for athletes to be able to grow through Christ, because we don't get the whole lot of time to go to church or do activities with our church because we're spending so much time practicing and on the field and with our teammates. It's gonna put Christ first and then the activity second. It's gonna focus everything on Christ while we get to have fun too.
Great House FCA All-Star Classic is tomorrow night at 7 at Shotwell Stadium. You can see it live here on KTAB. Texas Tech beat Oklahoma State in Game 1, 8-6. Game 2 tomorrow at 5. That's the sports. Let's go back to Bob.
All right, David, thank you very much. Vice President spotted shopping. He has 2 special days to celebrate. We'll explain coming up. And Sam has another check of the forecast right after this break.
Closed captioning sponsored by Livingston Audiology. KTAB News at 6 continues.
Of course, we always say timing is everything, so Sunday, timing is going to be everything as far as whether it's really uncomfortable or we have storms, or it's going to be really nice.
Yeah, that's because we have this cold front coming through. It's going to be really warm tomorrow, 93 heat index values, upper 90s, and then 94 on Sunday. But this cold front coming through could change a lot as far as high temperatures, especially for folks down through the heartland, with some of the forecast models expecting the front through about noon. Other forecast models expect it through in the evening. So we'll just wait and see. But rain chances Sunday night and also on Monday. Much cooler on Monday.
All right. Thank you, Sam. Before we leave you this evening, Vice President Mike Pence was spotted leaving a jewelry store in Washington, D.C. today. He briefly waved to onlookers before getting into that motorcade. Although today is the Vice President's 60th birthday, he was reportedly not shopping for himself. Tomorrow, June 8th, is Pence's 34th wedding anniversary. He has a nice gift picked out, we're told. Happy birthday and happy 34th wedding anniversary to the Vice President of the United States and his wife.
Of course, it's Father's Day coming around the corner. He may have gotten himself something.
Well, that's possible, too, planning ahead. That's it for now. We'll see you at 10 with all the news that hasn't happened yet. Good night.
Good night.